Hello and namaste to this exciting episode of Sattology debunking mythology. Sattology means science or truth or study of truth. Opposite to that is mythology, which means science or study of fake, lie or imagination. So we do run Gurukul courses in the US, Canada, South America and Mexico, and also in the current Australian time. So Australia, Sydney, Australia, New Zealand, all those countries can join. Southeast Asia can join at the right time. For them, it's the best time. It's early morning. It's 4:15 p.m. Pacific, and other places is accordingly you can calculate. So for California time is 4:15 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So let me tell you something amazing, because a lot of fake media calculations are there about India, and we respect both India and United States, and that's our contribution to both the countries. But I was born in India, so I love India because I was born there, and I love United States because I'm here with all of you, running Gurukul for you. So you can learn Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita in Hindi as well as in English. Plus you can join our Sanskrit classes, which are on Saturdays and Sundays. We are still looking for teachers for Vedic mathematics. Once we find them, we're going to share. So let's begin. So most of these classes are very minimal fees we charge, so that you can help support Sattology, and for people who cannot afford, we do it free for them. So that's how your donations help all of us. So let's begin. India's unstoppable economic growth journey. Now let me clarify one time that some people oppose that per capita income versus GDP, but understand one thing: the most of the modern GDP calculations are based on Western models, not Indian models. So Indian model calculation on GDP will be slightly different. So we are going to just quote on the Western, because in the Western GDP model is double calculation of many things. Indian GDP model is far more reliable because it actually doesn't calculate the double expenses or the double dips. So with that disclaimer, I'm going to come with the Indian calculation later on, not in this show. Now, in 2014, India was the 10th largest economy in the world. Today it is the 4th largest, and it's probably is the 3rd largest now. So in the 11 years, India has moved from 10th largest to almost 3rd largest on the PPP terms, not in nominal terms. If you look at the CIF fact book or other international organizations who keep a critical eye on global development, then they all calculate based on the PPP model, not on the nominal model. So in 11 years, India has become a global engine growth, which is robust economic GDP growth. Inflation has been controlled, infrastructure has been expanded. India spends annually $1.9 trillion in today's dollar value every year on infrastructure in India, and $1.9 trillion. And also foreign direct investment in India in nominal dollar terms is $700 billion, which is one of the highest. Sorry, the reserves, not the FDI. FDI is somewhat behind many countries, and because India focuses on Indian growth, inclusive growth, and they have removed almost 269 million people in last 11 years from abject poverty. So now when we say the exports, now Indian exports are measured in rupees. So in almost 39 lakh crore rupees, so $1 is equal to around 85 rupees. So 39 lakh crore rupees means 1 crore is 10 million. So when you say it's a huge amount in rupee terms, in the dollar terms is also a huge amount. So when you say 70 lakh crore, which means almost like say almost like $900 billion, less than that. $900 billion is India's exports, which were half of that, which is almost $400 billion in that time before. So the Make in India goods and are very popular now. Make in India goods are considered very high in quality. So we are looking at, if you look at the Make in India goods, then you're looking at 37 lakh crore rupees, which is a very high amount, almost comes out to be, so 8,500 crores is $1 billion. So you can calculate. So when you say 37.44 lakh crores, then it is, you're looking at almost like $400 billion approximately. So then you have service sector is almost the same way, increasing. India is the largest internal consumer. Almost 70% of Indian economy is internal, not external. So they're not dependent on exports to other countries. This is the biggest misconception in the Western countries, that India is dependent on their trade, especially American society. Or they will stop some imports from India, India will collapse. No, India is not Mexico. India is not Canada. India is not UK. So it is not dependent on American economy at all. In fact, if India stops exporting to American economy, American economy is going to come down. So the employees that you see here on H-1B visas and other things, they're actually adding to American economy, not taking it away. If those H-1Bs won't come, then average software cost or the services cost on the financial sector is going to increase by almost 75%. So it's going to hurt American economy more. And I'm not a person who is just promoting India, but I'm just saying that this is the fact. So coming to the investors now, more so $81 billion was the FDI inflow, and it went from $36 billion. So it is almost touching $100 billion. And also, most of the times these FDIs cannot be absorbed easily in India. So therefore the FDI flow is little less as compared to other countries. So if you look at the global innovation hub, so India has almost 2.5 times growth in 10 years. So we have more than 1950 startups, which is almost the startup capital of the world. Its number one is US for the time being, number two is India, and number three is Israel. So India is top 3 or top 5 in all categories, exports, imports, food. In most of the categories in the food, India is number 1. Extreme poverty went down from 7.7% to 1.7%, and also the gap is also narrowing. So if you look at the rural poverty, went down from 18.4% to 2.8%. Urban poverty went from 10.7% to 1.1%. And so urban rural poverty gap went down from 7.7% to 1.7%. If you contrast that with the USA, the absolute poverty in the USA rose 20% in last 5 years. And the actual poverty rates in the US, where people can afford only one meal a day, that is almost standing at 11.5%, and which is, I'm removing all the bad data, so I'm telling you better data, so which even the Americans are not accepting, because Americans says almost 21%, but I'm saying 11.7%. But the actual poverty rate based on the American expenditure is almost 41% right now. 41%, you'll be shocked with this number. Fastest growing major economy in the world, the major economies are US, China, India, Brazil, Canada, UK, France, and Italy. I have a doubt over Canada, because population is very less, around 41 million people. So you cannot compare apple to apple. So those of you who mock India on the per capita income, just understand, you are talking about comparing few millions to 1.4 billion. So not even USA counts over there in per capita. So it's a bad record on the Western economies, that in absolute numbers, their numbers are very less. So if you say the actual number of people, then all the Western economies have fared very badly as compared to I'm talking about the most industrialized economies. So if you look at the demat accounts, which is the financial inclusion one, so there is a special movement called Jan Bhagidari movement, which is participating, like making people participate in the economic process. It's 9 times increase from 2.3 crores, means 230 million, 23 million, to 19.2 crores, which is 192 million bank accounts have been added. Retail investors is a revolution in India. So it used to be just 16 million people. Now we are looking at 160 million people. 11 times increase. 11 times increase with the markets. 6.5 times increase. Per capita income used to be 86,000 rupees, which is $1,000 in 2014, 2015. We have to understand the cost of living in India is 1/80th, 1 by 80th. The dollar value is $1 is 85 rupees. So 1/80th time 1/80th part of the cost of living. So if you look at just calculate number terms, so $1,000 in US means a very comfortable lifestyle in India. Per year we can say much more comfortable than. So India needs a little more money than, like, approximate expenditures can be 2 lakh rupees or 3 lakh rupees minimum for Indian citizens, which comes out to be just around $2,000 or $3,000. So it's equivalent to a $45,000 salary in India, in US. Okay, so if you compare apple to apple, then India is looking at $4,000 minimum monthly income, which is per capita is very high as compared to India. You can buy more in Indian rupees than in US dollars. So actually, in real terms, the US dollar value has gone down because the American way of lifestyle, you can buy less things in a dollar than in rupees. Now this is just the economic side. Now let me talk to you about the defense side. So Indian defense exports have risen very high across the world because of very high-tech defense equipments like artilleries, like Pinaka rockets, the air defense systems, and also missile systems. Plus India leads in the category of ammunition, and also other artillery guns and artillery and combat vehicles. So most of the world is also witnessing the small arms explosion from India, like in terms of export explosion. So Triple S Defense and many other companies which I love are there. Plus India's drone manufacturing is one of the top 2 in the world. It has surpassed most of the other countries in terms of numbers and technology. India's space research, ISRO, has already launched more than 104 satellite missions for other countries, like in one go. They've done twice, and also they have also launched twice or once, and also they have done the other space researches like landing on Mars and many other things which they have been doing. So those exports are going to pick up. Plus the homegrown. So I won't call it indigenous because most of the Indian products are world class, not indigenous, because indigenous connotes that it is not as mature as other countries. No, India's air defense systems are better than Patriot systems, like in terms of technical capacity. Indian guns are being bought by American Army, US Army, and also I'm talking about long range artillery weapons, much more stable in warfare scenarios. Plus India's technology and the quality has been known to leave a mark on the battlefield. So those things are separate. So India is growing in the warship manufacturing, and they have this is the 4th largest navy, 4th largest air force, 2nd largest army, well trained army, not just army. If you have seen any of the armies so far fighting with the US force in other countries, India will shock you in many ways. So a lot of misinformation is there in the American society, but I thought that I'll tell you what is the official numbers here, and these are ratified by international organizations. And also eventually India is going to give up on English because most of the Indians don't speak English. So India is going to emphasize on local languages which are more international, because the English is the largest language for the second language speakers. The first language English speakers are hardly 400 million people. So I'm doing in English so that our Indian American kids can also understand. So most of the English languages will be based, European languages will be considered just a skill. So these are the changes which is happening in India. India is for peace, and India is for prosperity for all. And India gave the world yoga, meditation, vegetarianism, and the American yoga schools must correct themselves, because asana is not yoga, yoga is not asana. So you can join our gurukuls to get recertified in yoga in an Indian way. I have translated the book called Transcending the Mind, and it's one of the most popular books of mine. It's on Yoga Sutra. So every Tuesday you can join that class so that you can learn and recertify yourself, teach the real yoga, which is connecting your Atma with Paramatma, and it has no connection with just the funny yogas which Americans have invented, which is an insult to the word yoga. So thank you all very much for listening to me, and do like, share, subscribe, let me know your feedback, and also spread the goodwill. So goodwill across. So this book of mine, Gita, is the origin of the word yoga. The word yoga is there for the human, in the human society, from the time of creation. That old it is. So we are looking at that from the man was created with yoga. That's how you look at it. Thank you all very much. Namaste and Jai Jagannath. See you in another show.